Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to match day number 3 of the Skyview Girls Schools Cricket Week Tournament. An interesting clash between Masaka Secondary School and St. John's Senior Secondary School. It's been an affair of so many extras so far for Masaka Senior Secondary School. Two unbeaten teams in this tournament squaring off this morning here at the Gulu ground. Another interesting clash today. Mukite Kevin is the current bowler there for Masaka Senior Secondary. Has been her only problem. The extras that she's given so far in the game. The news has come from the center. Masaka Senior Secondary School won the toss and opted to bowl first. But they're not off a very good start because the extras have been the tail of the tape. The total number of runs in the game so far is 7, and 6 of those are extras. Judith Nakasaga opening the batting alongside Josephine Nawagala for St. John's Senior Secondary School, Mukono. There's a no ball call there from the umpire. That ball just landing outside the playing area. And it will be a free hit opportunity for Masaka Senior Secondary School. Coming into this game, these two teams are both placed in Group D. St. John's Secondary School is on top of that group. They have played 3 games and won all their games, and this is their final group stage game. Whereas Masaka Secondary School has played 2 and won both, and this is their third. The top 2 from this group will advance to the quarterfinals. Free hit. Hit with power. Work to do for the fielder. Secondary school capitalizing on that fumble to pick up the second run. Run is St. John's in the game. My name is Evan Cyprian Sajabi in the Kongs. It's the 22nd edition of the Cricket Week Tournament. Mob Products Limited. Schoolies and Uganda Limited, who are the broadcast partners in this tournament. Action happening all over Gulu City. Sacred Heart versus Ndeje SS. Olida is taking on St. James. Light SS is taking on Gayaza High School. And Iganga Secondary School is taking on Gulu High School this morning. We will be giving you the updates of all those games as we continue with the live commentary. Mokite Asha not starting so well. She's suffer bowled only 3 illegal deliveries. St. John's already has 12 overs in the first. They already have 12 runs in the first over, where 8 of those are extras. Back wides there for Mukite Kevin. Josephine Nawagala. The left-handed batter currently on strike. And Judith Nakasaga, her partner, is on the non-strikers end. It's an expanded tournament. Last year the schools were 16, but this year the number of schools has increased to 20. 3 teams playing in this tournament for the very first time. Soroti SS, St. Teresa Girls Secondary School, Masindi. and the other debutant being St. Cornelius SS Kalagala. St. Cornelius SS Kalagala, not a very good start for them because they have lost all their opening games. Whereas St. Teresa made a very good mark, winning their very first game in this tournament. They managed to defeat Ndege Secondary School. Another full ball there coming in from Kevin Mukite. Kevin Mukite, a young sister to Victoria Pulse players, Britam Samali and Susan Kakai. She started her cricketing career at Ginger Smith Secondary School, but later on, with the opportunity of studying, of getting a scholarship came, she had to go and join Masaka Secondary School. That's called no ball because it's above the waist, and the struggles for Mukite Kevin continue. It will be a free hit for Josephine Nawagala. 16 runs already in the first over with a free hit on the cards.
Come on, guys, come on.
Free hit. Wide is the call from the umpire, and Mukite will have ball that again. Mukite Kevin, the captain for Masaka Secondary School, will be hoping that the bowler who bowls the second over can do some bit of damage control. For 17 runs in the first over is not a very good start for Masaka Secondary School. She goes for a sweep shot and she makes some good contact, and that single will bring us to the end of the over. A very expressive over in the contest of the game, and at the end of the first, 18-for-none is the score. Into the second over of the game, and it is Penny Natabo to bowl the second over for Masaka Secondary School. A slow bowling option coming in. She starts with a short one, and it is hit straight to Flores Kaijuka, who makes a very fine stop, cutting off that one to just a dotty ball. Penny Natabo, formerly at St. John's Secondary School, before she joined the Masaka Senior Secondary School. Another short pitched ball is hit down to the fine leg boundary, and Naula Hasfa manages to field that one very nicely. The body language for the Masaka Sek girls is so good. If they can remain very, very positive in the game, they stand a very good chance of maybe picking up a result in this game. Penanatabo's issue has been the short balls. If she can pitch it a little fuller, maybe she will put the wickets into play and stand a chance of picking up a wicket early for Masaka. That is the delivery, but unfortunately again that one goes down wide. Wides have been so many for Masaka Secondary School, and it's now becoming an issue of concern. They should be looking for a way of addressing it. They've so far bowled 12 wides out of the 14 extras that they have bowled so far, 2 of those being no balls that came in the first over by Mukite Kevin. Another wide there for St. John's Secondary School. Somehow things have not gotten going for Masaka Secondary School because they are leaking so many runs up front in the innings. Yet they clearly needed to make sure that they just keep bowling the good areas. Well driven, Creamer through the cover area. Work to do for the fielder. There is a run out chance, but the throw coming in from Kevin Mukite not too powerful. And St. John's Secondary School manages to pick up the second run. St. John's Secondary School coached by Barakatu Yamwesimira, who is assisted by Jonathan Nsamba. Whereas for Masaka Secondary School, they are coached by Yusuf Nanga, who is assisted by Geoffrey Kakaire. One more ball to play in this over by Penina Natabo. Hit down backward of the square. And they do take on the arm of the fielder. The single brings us to the end of the over. Runs still in full flow. And after 26 for no loss is what St. John's Secondary School Mukono has on board. Bowling change there for Masaka Secondary School already. Kaijuka Florence replaces Mukite Kevin. Another slow bowling option there into the attack for Masaka Secondary School, and a very good start there for Florence Kaijuka. She manages to start off her spell with a dot ball. Florence with some bit of work to do. Might have bounced over the stumps, and that appeal goes in vain. Back-to-back dot balls there for Masaka Secondary School, and a bit of a breather because they conceded 25 in the first two. And here in the comms, I'm joined in by Fortinet Ali Juna. Good morning, Fortinet, and welcome to the comms.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Good morning. Really good day of cricket. The sun being up and the stage already being set for the two group stage competition. But the wicket falls, the first wicket falls, and it is 25 for 1. This game is really important to set the tone for the group. These two teams being the leading group performers. If they pick up a win against each other here, one will get out of the stage and hopefully face or stand a chance of being in a better group other than being in a stronger side. But at the moment, a wicket means that everything now is leveled, having had a bad start for Masaka at the moment, conceding 25 in the first over. Now Kaijuke getting the breakthrough, which is highly needed.
Yeah, that's the replay there right in your frame. Florence Kaijuka going to full. Josephine Nawagala shuffling across the stumps. She went across the line, and that ball clearly could have rolled on to hit the wickets. The umpire, Michael Koth, raises up the finger. And now somehow that's some bit of a breather for Masaka Secondary School, as they've made sure that they pick up the wicket. One brings two, so they will need to make sure that they keep bowling the good areas, put the wickets into play, and stand a very big chance of picking up many. But Michelle Lokuya is the new batter in, replacing Josephine Nabagala.
I tell you, even the moment Kejuka came into ball, we saw the first ball ending up at at the pads, and later she went on to pick up a wicket through LBW. Shows you that she was really playing with the stumps. She has kept the stumps in play, and which is a good indication when you're bowling at this stage. You only have to be precise at least, because the batter presents you the margins of error. They are batters that do the errors, but when you bowl straying away from the stumps, you don't stand so much opportunities to pick up a wicket.
Yeah, Florence Kejuka just doing what is expected of her, bowling those good areas. Florence Kejuka comes from a place called Kayunga. And her home village is Ibale, for those who've been in that place. That was a half chance, not taken, and the run out chance is completed. One brings two. Michelle Requia hit that one and ran herself into traffic. 2 wickets falling there for St. John's Secondary School. But clearly the call wasn't so good between these two batters, and they'll have themselves to blame.
Michelle departing there. Hit the ball so hard, but straight to the fielder. Good drive there on the up, but the fielder collecting and throwing so perfectly to the bowler. And the bowler doing the rest of the work. The second wicket falls for only 26 runs. What an over this is turning out to be for Masaka SS at the moment. 2 wickets already. Even you said one brings 2, and now the third batter comes in.
Yeah, Michelle Roquia going out, and I tell you, this was a very, very fine over there from Florence Kejuka. With the exception of that Wade, it could have turned out to be a maiden over. But maybe it will be a positive for them to carry forward in this game, because clearly they needed an over like this where something works out for them. And now this over turning out to be too fruitful. One run coming off that over, and 2 wickets falling in that over. And after 3:26 for a loss of 2 wickets is what St. John's Secondary School has on board.
Naksaga Judith at the moment has to do a lot of work for her team, given that she has lost 2 batters on, well facing or watching on from non-straight. Now she has to make sure that she holds her side and get the partnership, because it's what they need at the moment. But talk about the fielding for Masaka at the moment, Ivan. How good have they been?
Yeah, I tell you, so far in the game, Masaka has been doing the nitty-gritty work. And with those 2 wickets falling, their body language has even improved more, because they now know that they are getting on top of things. Jalia Nakaja is the new batter in for St. John's. With the exception of those shorty balls that are coming in from Penana Tabo, the fielders have done exceptionally well.
Yeah, even the bowling at the moment seems to have improved, because they are bowling straight up this time round. Straight up, the short balls have been rolled out, and the wickets have fallen, I tell you.
She makes a mess of it, but the backup was so good, cutting that one off. Somehow she was rushing Kevin Mukite as she was running into field that ball. But back-to-back dot balls, 3 dot balls in the over there for Penina Natavo. That is hit to her, and she gets hold onto it. What a take there from Penina Natavo, flying up in the air. And that one will have the field burst into excitement. Jalia Nakaja comes and Jalia goes. But what a fine take there from Penina Natavo.
I tell you, that was a really brilliant take. Great efforts from the bowler. She knows that she has to complete that catch that she has created, and you can see the celebrations, the dances, and that tells you that everything is flowing in their own flow state, and that's what they will love. 3 wickets falling in just a period of 10 balls. Now there has to be something done for St. John's at the moment. You don't want to keep losing wickets, I tell you, because every wicket that falls brings another problem to the dugout. That is the pressure, increases the pressure. If I'm to put my own law, that pressure increases with the amount of wickets that are falling.
Sonia Nampera is the new batter in. Tries to hit that one off her body, but somehow she doesn't make good contact. What an over there for Penny Nanatabo. They over started so 3-dot balls, a wicket. Take away that wide, but she's really been bowling the good areas. And the protection for Penny Nanatabo's pitch is all on the one side. Another dot ball. Much brilliant there for Penina and Masaka Secondary School.
Really good bowling display there from Penina Natabo. But talk about the bowling tandem they're having, already contributing 3 wickets with the former bowler. But that's a good shot, good cricketing shot off the back foot. The recovers for only one. It's really good. Shot of confidence there when you've just walked in, and getting off the mark in that way shows how good or the skill set that you have. A single to finish up the over, but only 2 runs taken in that over. But most importantly, a wicket fell, and after 4 overs, 28 for 3 is the score. I tell you, at the moment, Nampere and Nakasaga have to do a great job at the moment. Make sure that they at least play out 8 overs. If they do that, that will be so good for them, because it will be so bad if they lose a wicket. But that won't work for Masaka at the moment. They need to keep hold of that grip at the neck for St. John's.
Back for her second over, Florence Kaijuka. She gave away just 1 run in her first. She took a wicket, and she was also involved in another wicket as she completed a run out in the dismissal. Some bit of width, but Sonia Nampera not cutting that one. She tries to drive and just misses. It's another dot ball for Masaka Secondary School, and Masaka Secondary School crawling back in the game. They've made sure that they take some wickets. Inside out shot hit over the head of the fielder at covers, and they only take a single run. Good work done by the fielder, cutting that one off from the boundary. It was pitched a little too full by Kaijuka Florence.
A left hand, right hand combination. Doing the confusion here. Field has to be changed at every ball rotation. And now is the appeal. Trying to come forward for a drive, but the height would have been the factor there.
Goes across the line, and there was an appeal, but the umpire says that could have gone down the leg. The ball was angling in a little much, so the umpire says that's not out. But it's a risky idea there from the bat. You need to make sure that you play with the full face of the bat, drive one away.
Stay down a little bit there and fold herself in an awkward position. She would have been in trouble had the ball been straight at the stumps, but the umpire Okoth stays her ground, stands tall, and doesn't rule that one in the favor of Masaka. Dot balls continuing for the bowler Kaijuka. She has really done decent. What a good over it is turning out to be. Already one run only taken with only one ball left. Good over in the making. Another house set appeal there, but that would be a dot ball to finish up the over. And 5 is the over done. The overs down, and 29 for 3 is the score.
Yeah, Florence Kaijuka has been so exceptional in this game so far for Masaka Secondary School. She's a far ball, 2 overs, considered just 2 runs. She's picked up a wicket, and she also completed the run out. She's somehow made sure that she helps Masaka to crawl back in the game. After 2 overs, the score was 25 for no loss. And after 5, the score is 29 for 3. It means there has been some good comeback. There is another bowling change in the attack there. Naula Hasfa has been introduced into the attack. She comes in to replace Penina Natabo from the school end.
I tell you, Ivan, there was a very good captaincy decision made there. The first over of Mukita Kevin going for 18. Later, she realizes that maybe the slow bowlers will do magic. She later went on with 2 bowlers that bowled 4 overs amongst themselves. Katabo Penina and Keijuka Florence, and did a brilliant work, really good work, picking up the 2 wickets, but the 3rd wicket was a run out, so they did decently, but the economies were really good. 4.5 and 1 for the 2 respectively.
Dot ball there to start off the over. When Naula Hasfa came to bowl, the girls of Mount St. Henry's High School who were watching the game burst into excitement because she's always worked out with them. Naula Hasfa's home area is within a town which is next to Mount St. Henry's called Takajunge. So sometimes she does work out with them, and she's also from the Mukono cricket community. So they know something on what you could be doing. That was from the edge of the bat, and work for Bolamu to do.
Not just community mates, but the way how she came into the attack, marked her run up, then tried out her run up, came in pumping and followed through up to the batter side. That was really interesting to see, and wanted to sound her presence at the crease. But so far, she's doing pretty well attacking the stumps. So the first ball, dot ball, then the later inside edge that allowed the batter to go off strike. Beautiful shot there around the pad, but there is protection and they will only take 1. Good field placement there. Every shot that is being played seems to be played to the fielders, but again the left-handers and right-handers in play. Every time the fielders have to keep running around covers and mid-wickets, square leg being shuffled around.
Not a very bad start there for Hasfa Naula. That one goes to the pads, and the umpire raises up the finger. Sonia Nampera goes for a booming drive but doesn't hit it away. Hasfanaula's bowling stump to stump has paid off the dividends because Masaka Secondary School picks up another wicket. And that's a loud celebration that you do here.
Well, a little bit lazy into the shot. Strong run up in there. Just does get too lazy, but the lane is in. And the impact is in the wicket, right at the money. That's what you get for bowling straight stump to stump. And the fourth wicket falls for only 31 runs.
Somehow the wickets have been falling for St. John's Secondary School. They have failed to take care of the wicket column. Naula Hasfa into the attack. Naula Hasfa picks up rewards. 31 for 4. The score was 25 for no loss after 2. But as we get into the final over to complete the power play, it clearly shows you that Masaka Secondary School is getting on top of the game. But I tell you something exciting about that Masaka Senior Secondary School team. 2 of the players who are playing in that team are daughters to 2 of the international umpires that we do have in Uganda. The wicketkeeper, Nankabira Bridget Gift, is the daughter to Patrick Makumbi Musoke, an international umpire. And the fielder at third man, Bula Muhapi Abigail, is the daughter to John Trusty Mayoku. Kisache is the new batter in. But I tell you, it's exciting to see that the international umpires that we do have in Uganda have made sure that their daughters can play this beautiful sport and they have them around. And Makum Patrick Musoka is the umpire manager for Cricket Uganda. He's currently here with us in Gulu and is here with us at the ground watching the proceedings as his daughter tries to walk into the footsteps of her dad.
It's a real good gesture there from the international umpires, like you said. We've seen so many cricketers taking their students to non-cricketing schools. But what gesture it is from the 2 umpires, Mayeko and Makumbi, to make sure that their daughters go into and through and follow their footsteps. And the dot ball finishes up the over. Power play done. 31 for 4 is the score. The game that started so well with 18 in the first over now is turning out to be one-sided at the moment. Good comeback there for Masaka, picking up 4 wickets that have really turned the equation around. I'm here to see Irene Mutonyi and Giringish come into play. They are the key figures for St. John's, but they have held themselves back a little bit. So it's my concern of how long can they keep pushing backwards. Yesterday, Mutonyi scored 50 against Nyakasura, so she should be carrying that form into this game. You don't have to keep pushing yourself backward. Pressure can mean to even overcome the strongest.
There's another bowling change as such an angel comes into the attack, replacing Florence Keijuka. And now I tell you what the coach is doing. He knows that St. John's Secondary School is shuffling the batting lineup and making sure that they keep Irene Mutoni and Gilingish Nabulime. So that's why he's taken Florence Keijuka out of the attack. She will come back later and bowl to them. And I tell you, Florence Keijuka has ever played in the same club with Irene Mutoni and Shadia Gilingish Nabulime. So she knows a thing or two on what they will be doing in 2023 under the Mukono Cricket Community team during the UCA Women's T20 League. Shadia Glingish was the captain, Irene Mutoni was a player in that team, Nata Opena was a player, and Florence Keijuka was a player in that team. And another wicket there for Oh, sorry, it's not a wicket. It was a free hit there on the cards. But what a ball there coming in from Kisache Angel.
I tell you, everyone, even the fielders themselves in there, thought maybe they had picked up the 5th wicket. But bad enough for them. The no ball previously did them so bad, or else things would have been 33 for 5 at the moment. And the free hit not put to maximum use from Nakasanga. Like you said, they are shuffling around or pushing Mutonyi and Gringish backwards, but everyone here knows each and every team. They know who the stronger players are. So when you do some changes, even the opponent see which changes you're making. Open blade there, and they are taking the second run. And I will be happy to say that was good running between the wickets there. You could see the moment Nakasanga reached the non-striker, she turned straight away knowing that she had picked a good gap. And they would love to see those doubles coming around.
Yeah, such an angel. Could have been a feather. Nakasaga Judith not really moving her feet, she's just throwing her bat there, and it's a hanging blade there from her. It's very risky. She needs to make sure that she goes hard or stops fishing, because she might feather it to gift given Bridget Nankavirwa.
Tell you, even every time the length has been pulled backwards, the batters have found themselves in an area of uncertainty there. But everything that has really been full, they have played boldly through the shot, and that allowed them to get off the mark straight away, and they've gotten to rotate the strike with ease. But a single will mean the end of the over. 5 runs off that over, and the score reads 36. Oh, there are 2 weights in that over. That means there is an extra ball to be bowled, and the right-hander, who is yet to get off the mark, Chisache, is on strike.
Oh, what a ball there from Kisache Angel. A bit flattered and full, and not driven there by Kisache. And that brings us to the end of the 7th over. Scoreboard reading 36 for 4. But what a way to crawl back in the game. 18 runs from the first over, 25 at the end of the second over, and just 36 at the end of the 7th over. Good work there being done by Geoffrey Kakaire and Yusuf Onanga, the coaches of Masaka Senior Secondary School. I have a friend in Masaka Senior Secondary School, Mr. Kasozi. He used to be the teacher who was coming with the teams to the nationals, and around the time when we played, we used to be with him. But when Coach Yusuf Onanga, who is also a teacher of art, fine art, went to that school, it looks like Mr. Kasozi took a little more commitment to his teaching. I remember one time he came and gave me the t-shirt of Masaka Senior Secondary School, and it had their motto, "Knowledge is treasure." Really good signs. But there is a no ball call there from the umpire, Naula Hasfa. Looked like she wasn't ready to deliver that one. The ball just slipping out of her hands, and it will be a free hit for Judith Nakasaga.
Really bad delivery there from Haspa. Controlling the pace is also a problem for the youngsters at some point. But comes in, plays it into the surface, but beautiful shot. Played so late and picking up the gap and taking 2 runs. I tell you, that was really proper cricketing shot there. And Nakasanga shows that she's really good at playing pace on deliveries. But I love the way how she played that shot. If we had to get something more of that shot, You could see that she aligns herself so well, picks up the lane so early, and plays it into the fine gaps.
But and pad. But good ball there from Naula Hasfa, just angling it back to the batter. Masaka SS showing the love, showing that this is really a game they need to win. Because I tell you, when you win here, you go on top of the table. And on top of the table means in the knockouts you'll be playing a team which is second in another group. So it means you will get a weaker opponent. And now the tournament has a quarter-final and a semi-final, then a final. Then there will be placement games for the other teams that will have remained in the groups. So now Masaka SS is making sure that they go hard for this game to try and make sure that they be in a very good place of advancing. Remember last year they were in the semi-finals despite a loss to Olida High School. But they have really been a perennial team in this tournament, and they have always come and put out some good performances.
Tell you, every time for Masaka has been a player who is outstanding. Every year they come with that special player, and like you said, there perennial team. So it tells you that even this time they have that one player that is yet to come up and show. There it is, the wicket falls, a ripper. Off stump goes up in the air, the bails goes flying. But that was a really brilliant delivery there from Hasfa. Bowling round the wickets to the left-hander. Ball having a little bit movement, bowling with the angle right-hander to the left-hander and ending ripping up the off stump, but mostly taking up the bails. Really good delivery there from Hasfa.
Yeah, indeed, what a delivery there from Hasfa Naula. Good areas there bowling for her. She's just been bowling stump to stump, and as soon as she comes and bowls stump to stump, she manages to pick up another wicket. You did speak about Shadia Gilingish Navulime, and there she makes her way to the crease. But the arrival of Shadia Gilingish Navulime doesn't take away the performance from Judith Nakasaga. The left-handed batter Nakasaga opened the batting and managed to score 11 of 20. One thing you do take away from Masaka is the 20 extras that they have super bowled in this game. And now Shadia Gilingish Navulime has work to do to try and make sure that St. John's Secondary School gets to a total that maybe they can defend. St. John's are the defending champion, are the regional champions from the Central Region. They defeated Gaza High School in the Central Region finals, whereas Masakasek defeated Wala SS in the Southwestern finals. So all these teams from where they come from, they come into this tournament as champions.
Terry Van, they kept on pushing Gringish Shadia back up to number 7. Now she comes in, but it was always a question of how long are you going to stay in the dugout. Time will come, if the wickets fall, you'll have to come in the middle. Oh, that would have been carried to the short covers there. That would have carried short covers. She tries to show that she's good at pulling, but didn't expect the short ball in that moment. Found herself coming forward for a drive, and she's lucky that didn't carry it to the fielder. But good setup there from Hasfa.
Hasfa bowling a very good ball. Hasfa and Gilingish know each other a little well because they have played in the same cricket club, but that's the final ball of the over. Oh, she'll have to bowl it again because it was a bit wide from the batter. And runs for St. John's Secondary School. Naula Hasfa did her primary from St. John's Primary School, a school which is close to St. John's Secondary School. Actually, those two schools are separated by a wall. So most of the times, back in the days when I used to go to St. John's Secondary School daily, I used to find Naula Hasfa every day at St. John's because she started playing her cricket when she was in primary 6 at Takajunga. Then when she came to St. John's Primary, she could always come and blend in with the Navuli Mays, the Irene Muttons. So somehow she's always been with them, and she had gelled into their team, because I remember there was a time when they used to, when we had the first edition of the Deep End in Mukono, which was won by Ginger SS in the girls category. Naola Hasfa was playing in the same team with Shadia Green. It was the St. John's school team back then. So somehow these players off the pitch, off the field rivalry, they are very, very good friends.
Long time acquaintances there, but it is the game that differentiates the two. Not this time round. She completes the catch. That's what an extra ball could mean. She struggled to put it in the right areas, but the full toss there finds Kisache in very, very awkward position, just pushing it back to the bowler, and she will have to depart without struggling the scorers.
Yeah, a full toss there, not punished. A ball that she could have hit anywhere. Kisache manages just to pop it up in the air. Caught and bowled by Naula Hasfa, and it's another wicket. As we come to the end of the 8th over, 42 for 6 is now the score.
Already 2 caught and bowled dismissals here. We saw one earlier, and now we've seen this one from Hasfa. It tells you that the batters have not really committed into the shot, even if you see that delivery trying to slice the bat a little bit, but the bowler continuing through her motion and following through her delivery allowed her to pick that wicket. The new batter, Irene Mutonyi, has no time in the dugout, has to come at this moment. Comes in at number 8, and the score is 42 for 6.
Yeah, Irene Mutonyi, Shadia Gilingish na Bulime were both in Kigali during the Under-19 World Cup qualifiers in 2024. They've both played for the baby Victoria Pearls, but it's only Irene Mutonyi who has gone on and played for the senior women's team. Kisache Angel, who gave away only 5 in her first over, will now have a chance to bowl to Shadia Gilingish na Bulime. Shadia Gilingish na Bulime very good with the cut shot, but if you ball it there, you get her bowled, cleaned her up, and it's another wicket. Gilingish na Bulime going for a booming drive, and that ball rolls through. I tell you, with that wicket departing, Masakasya Secondary School has a very big chance of picking up victory here at Gulu High.
Straight at the money, straight as you like, a little bit flighted up in the air, and tries to go for a big drive. Doesn't really align herself in the good area to play that shot. I tell you, even at some moment, I feel like you jinxed Giringish, because you said if you bowl it there, and there the ball was bowled and the wicket was taken. Commentators might say,
not to show off fortunate, but back in the past I've ever coached Shadia Gilingish na Bulime, I've coached Irene Mutonyi, I've coached Naula Asfa, I've coached Penina Nata, I've coached Florence Kaijuka. So all these players somehow have been with them, and okay, right, I may not be working out with them, but because I follow cricket in Uganda, I get a chance of watching and seeing what they are playing. I know some bit of their weaknesses. I tell you, if I was the coach for Masaka Secondary School, one thing I would have told my bowlers is, for Shadia Gilingish na Bulime, she is so good at hitting the short balls, she can hit you anywhere. And she is so good at playing the balls outside of stumps. But every time you ball stump to stump, she struggles. Fine, she has a good check shot, a good drive, but sometimes she misses. As you can see that everything was well aligned, just that she didn't close the line of the ball.
I tell you, even in the Easter Women's T20 Cup, she struggled with those full deliveries. Game, beautiful ball there. Really beautiful. Too full for the ball, rather for the batter to get under the bat, rather under the ball, and picking up another dot ball there.
Yeah, the new batter there, Nelima Jorin, in for St. John's Secondary School. They kept hiding Shadia Gilingish na Bulime, but when her time came, she did not put any runs on board for her team. But a big shout out to the sponsors of this tournament. And I tell you, the sponsors of this tournament include Skyview, who have made sure that the girls are getting the different flavors of the Skyview brand: Skyview apple, Skyview fruity, Skyview citrus. But my favorite is Skyview apple. And also the other sponsors in the tournament include Batbo Uganda Limited, who are broadcast partners, Scully, who are logistics partners, and Mobit, who have come on board as hedging partners. Mobit has made sure that the girls receive toothpaste, the all-day toothpaste. They receive the Mobit lemon, and they receive the Mobit lemon hand and body cream. Also, they receive the Mobit family soap. And when I was trying to look at how Mobit Products Limited came on board, it was a really interesting story. But one of the people we would call our own Ampomuza Happy, who is also an OG to Masaka Secondary School, made sure that this sponsorship comes on board. She's here with us in Gulu, not on ground, to watch her OGs play. And I remember during her times, she was part of that team which reached the finals of the Girls Schools Cricket Week. Should have been around 2016-17. It should have been 2017, where Masaka SS reached the finals but lost to Ginger SS. Happy Mpomuza as part of that team, but she's also made sure that she gives back to the game. She keeps her support and make sure that there is some money. And now the weights is still flowing there for the team.
If I'm take you back even to 2025 Bow Schools Week tournament, you talked about Skyview Fruity to be your favorite. I'm trying to ask, when did you change from Skyview Fruity to Skyview Apple? Because those two brands, last time you said that it was Fruity that was your favorite, and now you've changed alliance to Apple. So how did you come to that?
Tell you, Fortnite, there has not been any change. You would clearly listen to it. It is a Skyview Apple that is my favorite. But as we come to the end of the 9th over, 45-7 is the score. A team that had 25 for no loss after 2 overs. In about 7 overs, they have added only 20 runs.
Yeah, that's how the game of cricket can mean to change. Within a simple instant, everything can turn around. And the turnaround has been in favor of Masaka SS. 45-7. Only 3 more wickets left. But Mutonyi has to do the heavy lifting for her team. I think she has some good memory. As for trying to bowl her short balls, and we know she's a bowler, a decent one, and she's really quick in her own style. And now bowling bouncers could mean that she should also come in and do something for her side. Already 3 wickets picked for Hasfa, and she still has 2 more overs to bowl.
She tries to hit that one hard, but doesn't make any contact. And I tell you, now Erin Muton will be trying to do that slogging roll. The only issue that is lacking for is that when she scored the 49, she was somehow well supported by Shadia Glingish Nabulime, because it gives her some bit of moral support batting with Shadia. But now that Shadia is back to the heart, she knows that the responsibility of scoring runs rests on her shoulders.
You talked about the support she gets from Giringish. You saw those 2 shots she attempted but not getting. Even her fellow partner doesn't come to talk to her or say any word. And when you're batting, you need that partner who will tell you, oh, you know what, fella, maybe get one and get off straight, or maybe try and align yourself in a good position to play that shot, or maybe this is what you're doing wrong, but there isn't that clear communication. And at the moment, she's desperate to get a boundary. The ball has already gotten on top of her, and it's only a matter of time. How does she cope up with that pressure? Again, real good shot there. That's how she copes up with the pressure. This time round, lends herself so well and picks up the boundary on the onside. Beautiful delivery and beautiful shot. I would say it is good cricket either way. Not a loose delivery, you will tell, because that was aimed at the stumps.
Erin Mutoni will be scoring some runs, but not sure if she will stick in for so long, because her role is a slogger role. So she will always try and make sure that she hits the ball to the boundaries. And I tell you now, for Masaka Secondary School, they will need to go for all the options to try and make sure that they pick up her wicket. And Erin Mutton loves space on, so maybe this could be a time for the coach to bring back the slow bowlers in Penny Nanata and Flores Kaijuka to try and make sure that they do get that much needed wicket of Erin Mutton.
Yeah, clearly said that being a slog of the ball, it allows you to send the balls to the boundary when there is pace off. A little touch on the ball will mean that it will go with the same pace that it came with an additional force from the bat. But when you're bowling with slow bowlers, it takes a lot of energy to clear the boundaries.
Work to do there for the fielder in the deep. Good stop there, but Irene Mutoni going for too much power. Even the single that she did get, she got it after a very powerful stroke. That single brings up the 50 runs for St. John's Secondary School after 9.5 overs. One more ball to play in this over. Irene Mutoni going to have a conversation with Jorin Nerima, which is what the talk was all about.
I tell you, Evan, that is the thing that needed to be done by Neoma, to make sure that she tells Mutoni something, but not just stay at the non-strike. Open blade there, and Mutoni knows that she is the one to get the strike if they don't get that run, and she doesn't even attempt to run. A dot ball to finish up the over. Only 5 runs picked in that over, and 50 for 7 is the score after 10 overs. Halfway done.
Those are some of the girls from Kasese Secondary School who've come around to watch this game. The game being played at the main ground, and most of the teams that are not having games today have just come around to try and make sure that they do watch this interesting encounter between Masaka Secondary School and St. John's Secondary School. And if you just joined us, Masaka SS1, the toss and opted to ball first. Angel Kisache back into the attack for Masaka Sek. She's a foul ball, the 2 considered 8 and picked up a single wicket. 2 full and in the slot. And that is a hit down in the ground for another boundary. Moton Irene taking the liking to the bowling of Kisache Angel. Not a very bad ball, but right in the arc for Irene Moton to hit. And in Naula Hasfa would see that one just go all the way to the boundary.
Flatted deliveries in the act to be hit. Wider fielder at long on, but hit with power, finding that precision to pick up the boundary. Dealing boundaries here is Mutoni. No, how long are you going to keep hitting that? Again, same delivery, but this time round, different results. And Mutoni has to depart. What a breakthrough this is.
Yeah, she held her nerves. Angel Kisache just made sure that she bowls it straight, and Erin Mutoni could not make any contact. 2 flighted, 2 full and 2 straight, and Erin Mutoni trying to go across the line, but you look at the frustration there. Another wicket there lost by St. John's Secondary School. Kisache Angel has picked up only 2 wickets, but very vital wickets. In her previous over, she got out Shadia Gilingish Nabulime, and now in this over, she's gotten rid of Irene Motoni. Good work there. 54 for 8 is what the scoreboard reads. From 25 for no loss after 2 to 54 for 8 after 10. Tells you that if Masaka Secondary School had held themselves together, maybe St. John's could have even had lesser runs.
Winning the toss and opting to bowl first is turning out to be a good decision made by the captain in the middle for Masaka. Erin Mutonyi stepping across, losing her head, going across the line, step too wide, and she couldn't live a little longer. 100 run score. Game looks to be a Herculean task even for their standards with the senior team, rather senior players. And now they are even struggling to get to 60 is St. John's.
Yeah, Irene Nademba is the new batter in for St. John's Secondary School. Mrs. Hallain there. When you look at this game, the extras have been the biggest booster for St. John's Secondary School's total. 27 extras so far, and now the runs on board are just 54. It means only 28 have come off the bat. So if somehow Masaka SS can just try and make sure that they keep bowling the good areas, they stand a very big chance of picking up victory this morning here at Gulu. It could have been a feather, but Irene Nademba didn't make contact. But that ball was right in the act for cutting. A powerful cut shot could have seen that one past the field at point.
I tell you, even for the cut shot, it's all about the alignment. Do you align with the ball so well? In which case, Nademba does at any moment. Even if she got a bat on that, she would have ended up giving a loose catch, and this time round won't live for long. 0. She has scored, and she departs for after facing only 2 balls. And the 9th wicket falls, another one bites the dust, and it's only a matter of picking 1 wicket and make sure that you defend a low score. In my opinion, this could be a big task for Masaka to come in, because we know the bowlers that St. John's has, the likes of Irene Mutonyi. She can single-handedly pick up a team. We saw what she did against the US ladies in the Easter Women's T20 Cup, and at this moment I feel that Masaka shouldn't lower their guard down after giving this decent performance. Look at
Very straight and very full there from Kisache. She doesn't do so many things, just comes and bowls the good areas. And I tell you, every time there comes a new hero. The prime bowlers in the team, the Mokita Kevins, didn't manage to pick up the wickets. And now Angel Kisache has gotten the opportunity of shining. Final batter. There was a muted appeal there as Adwiro Godliver makes her way to the crease.
only one ball that can see this inning done. Like all the other deliveries, 4 deliveries have done the magic for Masaka, and most especially for Tisache. She has really done so well bowling those full and straight deliveries, picking up 3 wickets, 2 wickets in this over. What an over it has been. 55 for the loss of 9 wickets. After 11 is the score.
This is match day 3 of the 22nd edition of the Girls Schools Cricket Week Tournament, sponsored by Skyview. Masaka Senior Secondary School taking on St. John's Secondary School. Ferdinand Atabo back into the attack to try and make sure that she looks for that last wicket that Masaka Secondary School needs to wrap up the innings. Nataba has bowled 2.1 overs, conceded 9 and picked up a single wicket. And now the coach bringing back her slow options to make sure that she finds a way of wrapping up the tile.
Good deliveries there, really good. Asking the batter to come forward. I get that it isn't the delivery that you would love to go on the back foot, because it isn't short, only reached the bounce of the ball, but had a good spell in the power play. Flat-footed, the fielder covers. The ball stayed in the air a little bit, and now she has been moved a little bit forward. They know that there is a chance, there is a ball that will hang in the air for some longer time.
We don't see any runs coming the way of St. John's Secondary School. Clearly, most of the heavy lifting in the past games has always been done by Erin Mutan and Shadia Glingish Nabulime, and or maybe Nakasaga Judith. But now, Masaka Secondary School just doing the good work. They are getting the dot balls, and if they don't give away so many extras, there will not be so many runs added onto the total here by St. John's Secondary School.
It's only a question of what life is left in the Masaka side rather than the St. John's side. But those runs will be much appreciated for St. John's, because now one more wicket left means that every run comes will be much appreciated. A single to finish up the over, only one gotten in that. 6-50.
Going across the line, God liver. Not a good business there for her. You need to make sure that you face the ball with the full face of the blade.
I love the fact that she tries to shove across the crease, but the intention is clear, but the execution is much of the doubt. Bold shot, chance of a run out to the right end, and that will complete the inning with a run out. God liver she will have to depart. You can't take that run straight to the fielder. She has a good throw to the right end, and St. John's will only stop at 57.
A clash between St. John's Secondary School and Masaka Secondary School. A winner here has a chance of topping up the table. 57 all out, but that's the replay there right in your frame. When the batter and strikers end had the sound of the blade, thought there was a chance to run, but a good throw there to Kaijuka Florence helped Masaka SS to make sure that they wrap up the innings. Second run out for Florence in this match. St. John's Secondary School batting fast, didn't get their innings going, but it was Masaka Sek that wanted just adopted to bowl first. 11 runs for Nakasaga Judith, who opened the batting before being bowled by Naula Hasfa, whereas Irene Motoni also managed a late 9 off 7, but the 27 extras have been given away by Masaka Sek. Will be something for them to regret a bit if this result doesn't go their way. Naula Hasfa and Kisache Angel Peace were both unplayable. They both played 3 overs apiece and conceded 13 runs apiece and picked up 3 wickets apiece. Whereas Penina Tab and Fresca Ijuka also managed to get a single wicket in their names. To run out dismissals that we've seen, and 58 from 120 balls is what Masaka Secondary School will need if they pick up victory in this game. We will take a short break and we will come back for the second innings.
Really good day of cricket, the sun being up and
58 runs required in 20 overs. Masaka did a decent job to restrict St. John's to 57, but now they have the task that requires them to chase it in 20 overs, 100 balls to be specific. But to tell you, the umpires have already taken their places. The bowler is already marking her run up. The two batters already in there taking their guard. I tell you, 58 with the bowling masterclass that St. John's has. It seems to be a target that can be defendable. Giringish starts straight away with a short ball there. Played so well on the offside. Straight away, Kejuke Florence goes off the mark. They will need those singles so often. And if you have to look at the required run rate, only 2.7. And now it goes to 2.9. Shows you that it is within their reach. They only don't need to lose wickets. Bold cover drive, but only stopped at mid-off. Flighted up in the air a little bit. Chance of a run out. Oh, misfielded at extra covers. Those are the misfields that St. John's don't need at the moment. Shadia Nawulime Giringish had a decent spell yesterday against Nyakasura. And now bowling to the two batters of Masaka, Kejuka Florence and Tumsime. She has to make sure that she gets those early inroads by picking your wicket. Tossed up, driven, mid-wicket in place, tries to stop it. It was a chance somehow, somewhere. But in the end, it's a dot ball. A good over in the making so far. You'll always see that. You'll always see that in this youth girls cricket. Extras will always be there. They will always be hanging around the corner. As a batter, you only need to be patient. So will the short balls. Played on the onside. Good throw from Mutonyi. But 4 runs picked in that over. With the dot ball finishing up the over. With the required run rate being 2.9, and you pick 4 runs in the first over, means that you're at the required run rate. That's how you're operating. 54 runs now required in 19 overs. Leaving alone the good bowling, it's all about the bowling matchups that you execute as a captain. The mix-ups that you get, the decisions that you take as a captain decide so much in this game. Do you bring out the good call? Do you make the good call? Do you bring out the good ball at the right time? Sonia will be the bowler bowling from the church end. That's a really good delivery. If you bowl like that, most of the girls will look to play on the onside, but bowl it a little bit outside the lane of the stumps. Bowling the leg spin again presents its own challenges. Control has always been questioned. And we are yet to see how Nampera Sonia executes that. 2 dot balls already to start up the over. Oh, rips the bails off. That's the ball that they needed. That's the Jaffa that she needed to bowl. A very beautiful delivery from the leg spinner. Oh, really beautiful. The batter bamboozled there, not knowing where exactly to commit. And the ball just ends on picking up the bails. And the first wicket holds for Masaka at the moment. That's the breakthrough that they needed. Much respect there from the bowler Sonia. They needed the breakthrough and she delivers the breakthrough. And now it's a matter of time that how do the coming batters play with such pressure. Because I tell you, despite only being 2.8 runs required in an over, but it represents pressure. It keeps running in your mind that now I've gotten one off this over, now I need to get maybe 3 in the next. So the calculation itself plays a lot in your mind. Sonia to bowl her 4th ball. As for the new batter, you know how good she is with the bat, but she hasn't found her grooves in this tournament. She has been struggling to score runs so far, but coming in at the moment where her team needs her the most. Really good bowling. I was talking about the control to have when you're bowling the leg spin, and Sonia seems to be really in control when it comes to controlling the spin. Really good fielding at point. Really good fielding. We saw brilliant fielding in the first innings from Masaka, but St. John's is also showing that they are good fielders. A dot ball to finish up the over. A maiden over from Sonia. Only 4 runs on board after 2. And the chance taken at mid wickets. Always there has been a chance at mid wickets, but this time round too easy. Msime will have to depart for only 1 run, and it's the 2nd wicket falling in this 2nd innings of the game. Nabuli Megringish plating it up in the air, not reaching the bounce, trying to drive to go for the yawn drive, but the position there at mid wickets, fielder being really positioned in the right direction. And the 2nd wicket falls. Another batter baits the dust. My name is Arjuna Fortunate in the commentary box, bringing you this live from Gulu. And we are at Gulu High School, main ground. But in the commentary box, I'm not alone. I'm with Konyes David, the coach for Nyakasura girls cricket team, even the boys. But we are in the girls schools week tournament, and I have a chance to interact with him the way how the tournament has been, and we will be hearing a lot from him as the proceedings unfold. But a new batter for Masaka comes in, and it's Abigail who comes in at the moment where the run rate is tending to mount. Now it goes to 3.02. Abigail Vulamo is the new bowler, rather new batter, challenging the outside edge there, luring the batter into driving that ball. That is a really good length there from Giringish. Nice to have you here, David. Good afternoon, and how are you seeing this game so far, if I'm to ask?
Oh, it's good, and I'm sure all sides are going to benefit and enjoy this one.
Those are the extras that St. John's don't need to offer at the moment. David, being a coach of Nyakasura School, how has that helped the girls? If you would take us through the process of preparing the girls to come into this tournament.
My girls have actually tried to learn as much as they could, and I'm sure every day, every game they play makes them better, because I've seen them. Yeah, we've bowled a few extras, but every single game they bowl. Okay. Every single game they play, there is always some improvement marked, a few boxes ticked. So I'm thoughtful, and I'm hopeful that as time goes on, they are going to be better players.
2 overs done, rather 3 overs done with only 6 runs on board. And Sonia will continue from the chat end. Beautiful shot there, really beautiful, off the knee and to the onside. Beautiful slog sweep there from Haspa. Picks up the lane so well, lanes with it so, but the bowler losing her lane a little bit, bowling it and straying to the body, and that got the punishment it deserved. Beautiful boundary, well deserved at the moment, and it's already 4 runs to start up the over. It was a maiden in the previous that she bowled, Sonia, now gets the punishment. Again, coming back to you, David, I'm to ask, your ladies picked up a victory against Igang in the first game, but they have gone on to lose 2 games in a row. How do you cope up with that performance?
I think the win against Tiganga was literally out of control. They tried to control the game later. After losing a few wickets, they managed to pick up partnerships, and I think if they would have probably done the same with these other games, they would have maybe beat some of them, but I'm sure they got a lot to learn out of those.
Challenging the outside edge she has after that loose delivery, but she has gone on to pick her length, her lane. Everything is seeming to be under her control. Look at the revs she's trying to get at the ball. Beautiful action there for the leg spinner, but Haspa really up to the task. For every straight ball she has tried to come on the front foot, reach the bounce of the ball, and played so well, whereas the others that are outside the lane of the wicket, she has tried to leave them as much as possible. She knows the question at hand. Only 3 runs required in an over, with an extra coming somewhere. Again, coming back to my guest, David Mkonyezi, the coach for Nyakasura. How were the qualifiers from the Western region? Take us through the qualifiers, please.
We were about 5 teams, so the only advantage we had is we had prepared some tournament before that. So I believe girls came in the qualifiers with a lot. And they ended up winning the tournament. So to them it was good enough. and I know they can do better than they've done so far.
4 overs already done in this inning, and 2 wickets falling. Yes, you talked about the good work they've done so far, emerging as the regional champions. It means a lot to the girls to boost their morale in this tournament and coming when their heads are high. But now the all awaited bowler, the most anticipated, Victoria Powell's opening bowler, Irene Mutonyi, comes in to bowl. She hasn't really bowled so often in this tournament. She always comes in and bowls in the middle, but now comes in at the stage where she needs to get the breakthrough. 1 or 2 wickets would mean that the blow is much felt for Masaka SS. Tries to attack the stump straight away, but a dot ball in the end. Good presentation of the bat there from Abigail. Again to you, David. How has the school helped to develop the girls tournament at Nyakasura? If I'm to ask, how has it really funded you coming into this tournament?
Most of the needed stuff has been given by the school, equipment, and all that time. So I believe if we keep up building the talents of the young kids, because definitely my team, most of the players are between senior 1 and senior 3. So I know if with more years, 1 or 2, they will be better than they are today.
Erin Mutonyi has really found it difficult to bowl with an inexperienced wicketkeeper. Most times we haven't seen her bowl to her pace, and you saw her in when she was batting. She was challenged with short balls, and now she comes at the moment where Hasifa was bowling, and now she's batting. She intimidated her with pace, and now she bowls to her full pace and has found the body, which could mean that they are in a little bit of fight between these two, though they are good friends off the cricketing ground. But here it's a matter of fight or die. Good keeping there. Good use of the feet of the wicket keeper, coming down to stop that for only 1 wide. Erin Mutonyi will be disappointed. As a senior bowler, you don't need to give extras like the other bowlers we are doing. Again, you are left with 1 game in the group stages, David, with your girls. How do you plan to take on that game? Have your girls really prepared after those 2 wins? They can mean rather losses. They can mean to be a little bit demotivating, but how have you helped them throughout that phase?
One of the things I've seen about my girls is they are always positive. They've tried to keep their heads high, and we've tried to eliminate. We'll do as much as possible to eliminate the extras because they've been costing us very much. So I think we still have a chance to do something.
Okay, really good contest here in the middle. We're watching Erin Mutonyi up against Hasifa. It's really a good contest given us looking at Erin Mutonyi bowling with her full face. Full force is what she has gone for. Delivered full and punched hard, but good fielding there at mid-off. Hasfa will be really happy to make sure that she plays out Mutonyi's spell. Even the over, if she goes on and play all the 6 balls, she will have done a good job, knowing that she is more experienced when it comes to the 2, Hasfa and Abigail, and will be happy that she again has a chance to play other balls. Dot ball to finish up the over. The power play is done and dusted. Rather, 5 overs are gone already with only 13. But 2 wickets have fallen. They need a wicket somewhere. Coming back to my guest in the commentary box, David Mkonyezi, the coach of Nyakasura. Both boys and girls played cricket for Nyakasura, plays cricket for Avojo Cricket Club in the men's 50 over league. And now, with the experience, how have you transferred your knowledge of cricket to both boys and the girls at Nyakasura?
I've tried to make sure my players are as positive as they could, because with the trend of cricket, if you're not positive, if you're too defensive, there's always nothing for you. So I believe if they keep like that, they are going to be better.
Beautiful fielding there, real beautiful to stop it for only 3 wides. But the new bowler, Tisache, doesn't start up so well. Away down the leg, the wicket keeper doesn't stop this in the field, but really good fielding to stop it for only 3 runs. Those 3 wides can really be so bad for St. John's at the moment. Jovia now has to change the bowling sides. Bowling from right arm round previously, now has to go to right arm round the wickets. She bowled from right arm over previously and bowled a wide, and changes to right arm round. And now the line is much better. You saw Irene Mutonyi being straight closer to Jovia, trying to make sure that she chips in a word or two to the new pace bowler, and her knowledge is much appreciated to the youngster Jovia. Again, coming to you, David. The Western region has a hub on its own, Western Hub, Western Cricketing Hub. But there is some mix-up here in the middle. The wicketkeeper doesn't collect that. They might have found themselves in kind of conundrum running between the wickets, but Hasfa wants to take more of the charge in the middle, wants to make sure that she plays so many balls. I think it's the reason as to why she doesn't take up the second run, although she found her partner in a bad position. Hopefully, if their throw was on the right end, it would have been so bad for Masaka at the moment. But it's good to see Hasfa taking charge, trying to face so many of the balls. Coming back to the question I was trying to ask, that you have gotten the hub. How has the high performance helped you, giving you the Western hub? How does that come to the developing of the game in the Western region?
I think the Western Hub has brought services closer, because most teams would only wait for nationals to play cricket once again. So with the hub being near, a lot of tournaments would be held, and a lot of cricket will be played, which makes it easier for players to develop more.
All right. Well done. Well said there, David. But with so many games coming for your side, you have one more in the group stages. We still have the placement stage, placement games. You still have so many actions. All I can say is that I wish you all the best in the coming games, and all the best to the boys when you go back to to school, because boys schools week is also far, only one term from here. I wish you all the best. Thank you for for joining us here.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I know a lot is coming out of the cages.
Yeah, back to the action here. 18-2 is the score after 5.4. It's only extras that have really been much of the scoring options. They have added so many to the tally of Masaka SS. Like we saw in the first innings, extras were many in the first innings. So, like my partner always says, they are trying to return the favor. But in the commentary box, I'm not alone. I've been all along with Ivan Cyprian Sajabi. Welcome back, Ivan.
Thank you so much, Fortinet, and I'm happy to be back in the comms. 39 more needed in 14.2 overs for victory. Naula Hasfa with 4 of 16, and actually That 4 was a boundary. Whereas Abigail Happy Bulam 1 of 6. St. John Secondary School trying to do whatever it takes for them to defend the Pottery Total. But it will take them to ball the good areas a lot if they pick up something from this game. And the batters are not even looking rushed because they know the runs are not so many and they know that the weight will give them a chance. But as we come to the end of the power play, the score reads 19-2 after 6 overs.
Some communication between the two batters, Hasfa and Abigail. It is at the moment when Abigail finds herself playing against Irene Mutonyi. And in my opinion, it isn't one thing that Hasfa would have loved, because we saw her trying to take more of the strike other than let Abigail go on strike. But this same round, the inevitables have to be overcome, because now Abigail has to face Irene Mutonyi.
Irene Mutonyi to Abigail Happy. A bit of an edge, but the wicketkeeper didn't even put any effort. And Abigail manages to pick up another run there for Masaka Secondary School.
On some occasions, we have seen St. John's deploy a long leg. Even now, if you're to see, it isn't the faint leg, rather the third man in play, but a little bit something like long stopper to make sure that if the ball goes past the wicketkeeper, because they haven't trusted the wicketkeeper so well when Mutonyi is bowling, they have always put that one bowler to back the wicketkeeper up, rather fielder to back the wicketkeeper up. But Mutonyi and Hasfa's challenge is not yet to the deciders. Who takes the challenge? We saw Hasfa bowling to Mutonyi in the first innings, and now Mutonyi has to make sure that she takes the challenge up. I wonder what she's trying to do with the ball, getting the revs like the spinner. Going for a big blooming shot there, but not connecting. Maybe she senses that the ball is now pitched up a little bit, and if she goes through the lane, she can get it past the fielders. But Mutonyi really hitting the right areas.
Glorious, well driven down the ground. Beinaula Hasfa. The check drive there was well fielded, but the shot was good for the eyes.
Really beautiful on drive. You don't see many players execute that, but having such a skill set, it shows you she's a good timer of the ball and she plays some good strokes. But now it brings again Abigail, the left-hander, on strike to face Irene Mutonyi with 2 more balls left for this. Mutonyi is over.
Yeah, Irene Mutonyi sofa balled 1.4 overs and conceded 5 runs. Down in the leg, and where will be the call from the umpire? Irene Mutonyi missing Helen on that one. She wanted to bowl a straight one, but not beautifully executed. And somehow these batters are looking comfortable while facing Irene Mutonyi. Irene Mutonyi, because their wicketkeeper, the wicketkeeper for St. John's SS, Nakasaga Judith, is not too good. She always tries to cut off the pace because she knows they concede many when she comes full pace. Kramer to cover, but well fielded, and no run is taken.
I love the bold shots that these two have played of Mutonyi. Everything that has been pitched up, you see them committing into the shot, and the sound of the bat is really sweet. But only the placements is to be questioned. But beautiful drives we've seen so far from the two.
Full toss, and it is hit away. That goes all the way to the boundary. There was Widith, and William said thank you. carried powerfully to bring up another boundary there for Masaka Secondary School.
A much needed boundary comes at the moment where they needed it most to bring the equation to 32 from 13 overs. A boundary to finish up the over of Erin Mutonyi. She hasn't picked any wickets so far but bowled 2 overs and went for 10 runs. Shows you that they have really tried to control the innings, these two, Abigail and Hasfa being so quiet in the middle, playing 21 balls and only scoring 5 runs.
Yeah, I tell you, even the coach for Masaka Secondary School loved that creamer. As soon as the ball got off the blade of Happy Bolamu Abigail, he said short. Look at that one there. It was too full and right in the arc for Happy. Hit it and the good liver. The fielder at third man had nothing to do but see that one sail. Kisache Jovia back into the attack. She gave away 6 in her first over. Now she returns with the ball for St. John's.
Yeah, one thing that Hasfa has done is always look for one bad ball, whereas the other good balls she has really respected. And that's the bad ball. Thinks that maybe this is the chance that I will go over the inner fielders. Only the extra covers is patrolling the boundary at the offside. If she gets past the cover fielders, there will be chase in the deep. But maybe she tries to play it finer, but dot ball in the end.
Love the variations there from such Jovia. That one she goes space off and just bowls it straight. Because many of the players don't open up their bats to drive, every time you bowl a volley, the batters will always look at just blocking it. So that is a very good area there for Kisache to bowl. A bit short, but now the issue is that Naula Aso is playing it on the back foot. That short ball is a ball that you wait for. You either play it across, but because it's angling away, you can even play it late and make sure that you get it through that area back at third man.
I tell you, she picks the lane earlier, goes on the back foot, but she finds herself standing tall. She doesn't stay down a little bit, transfer the weight on the back foot. You find her standing really tall, not in the best position to play the cut shot, but good ball it is, and good over it is turning out to be 5 dot balls in a row, but that won't be much of a problem for Masaka at the moment.
Yeah, 5 dot balls and last ball of the over. Hit and driven with power down the ground. She was looking for that shot, and this time round she connects it sweetly. It races all the way to the boundary. 2-4 there from Kisache Jovia. And Naula Hasfa manages to play it down the ground for a boundary.
Really beautiful shot of command there from Naula. With it on offer, and she just lashes onto that. Hits it with power. All the fielders on the onside, only offside, only the deep extra cover was in play, but the others way in the third, and gets the precision right, plays it perfectly and picks up a boundary on the last ball of the over, and it is 30 for 2 after 8.
And a quick update from the other games that are happening from other grounds. Iganga SS is taking on Gulu High School. Iganga posted 146 for 4 in 20 overs. The chase is about to come up in that game. Late SS taking on Gayaza High School. Late SS scored 115 for 8, and Gayaza High School is chasing, but after 2.4 overs they have just 1 run. Ginger SS has been bowled out for just 72 runs in 18.2 overs by St. Teresa Girls Masindi, and in response, St. Teresa Girls Secondary School Masindi is 3 for 1. Bowling change here for St. John's. Shadia Nabulime Gilingish is into the attack, replacing Irene Motoni. But still with the updates, Olida High School is taking on St. James Secondary School. Olida posted 154 for 7 in 20 overs. The chase is on, and St. James is 14 for 1 after 4.4. Sacred Heart Secondary School is taking on Ndeje Secondary School. Sacred Heart posted 94 for 8 in 20 overs. And in response, the score is 4-1 as Indeje SS tries to chase down the runs. 4-1 after 1.1 overs. When you look at the current standings in the groups, in Group A, Masindi Secondary School is on top of the table with 3 wins from 3 games, 9 points, and Olida is second with 6 points from 2 games. Whereas in Group B, Late SS is on top with 6 points from 2 games, and Sorot SS has 6 points from 3 games that they have lost 1 game and won 2 out of their 3. In Group C, Ginger SS is on top with 6 points. They have played 2 and 1 both, whereas Security Heart is also on 6 points. They have played 2 games and won both their games, and they're in second place in Group C. In Group D, where the 2 teams playing at this very ground come from, St. John's on top of the table. They have played 3 games and won all their 3 games. They have 9 points, whereas Masaka Secondary School has played 2 games and won 2 games. They have 6 points in second place. Now that's for looking to be well poised there for this run chase. She's shown that she's so good on the offside.
That's the difference between Hasfa and Abigail. We saw Abigail trying to cut, but doesn't really go behind our lane with the ball. But this time round, on the body, around the pad, and up to the task, playing it for another single. Rotation of strike seems to be so easy for the 2. And the required run rate keeps on dropping. Now it is at 2.2, 25 runs required. And even the change in bowling, bringing on the slow bowlers, hasn't done the magic for their side. Is Mount St. Henry's, rather Mount St. John's, sorry.
Yeah, that single there from Naula Hasfa will bring us to the end of the 9th over. The score reading 34 for a loss of 2 wickets.
This is the partnership that Masaka SS needed most, and Hasfa has come in, controlled the innings, has been so quiet in the middle, but has scored runs already 11 from 30 balls, whereas Abigail has also been chipping in runs 8 from 12, but now it's up to picking a wicket, breaking the partnership for St. John's SS.
Yeah, there's a bowling change. Sonia Nampera comes into the attack to replace Kisache Jovia. Sonia Nampera's 4 ball 2 overs, conceded 5 and picked up just a single wicket. But she's so good with it, having that ball turn away from the batters. And look at the way Naula Asfa is playing her ball. She's playing them late. Just the issue that she's playing on the back foot and shuffling across the stumps. It means that if one of the balls rolls, and maybe it's the pads, she might be in a very bad place, because it might be a close LBW out call. Right in the arc and hit down the ground. Work for Irene Morton to do. Yes, she's a good fielder and she'll cut that one off to just a single.
Good throw in the end as well from Irene Tonyi. He talked about how she's playing or blocking that ball. It really looks so good because she knows Sonia is bowling leg spin and it's turning away from her. She comes and plays it with a little open blade to make sure that she runs the ball to a gully or point area.
Changes in the field for Abigail Happy. All fielders come inside the circle. She's still getting back to ball. What's needed for her, because they still need 23 runs from 63 balls. Masaka Secondary School a bit full there. If it was in men's cricket, that could have been hit anywhere.
I tell you, even Masaka and everyone in the dugout for Masaka will be happy with what Abigail is doing. We have seen Sonia being a very deadly bowler And this time round, that's not what they would be happy with. Not what they would be happy with. She looked so well when it came to blocking the ball, but the breakthrough they needed has come at the moment. She shouldn't have gone for that big shot.
Yeah, shuffling across the stumps. Abigail happy, and in the end the ball rolls through. Sonia Nampira with a much needed breakthrough. Look at that one. She was coming right arm round and bringing the ball back to the left-handed Abigail Happy. That ball, that googly turning back for Happy. Thought it was the ball to hit on the onside, but just missed it. And she is clean bowled. Masaka Secondary School lose the third wicket, and Penina Natabo makes her way to the crease.
That's always the challenge when it comes to the youngsters playing against the turn. The ball was turning into her and wanted to play it on the onside. Had she gone on the onside, she would have stood the chance maybe to connect with the ball. But it's a really good delivery from Sonia to finish the over. Only one more ball left, but what an over it is in the making. And they have got the breakthrough that they needed. Natabo is the new batter. If they get another wicket, could mean so much for them. You don't have to let a new batter to settle. I would love to see a slip fielder in for the new batter, for the ball that is standing for Sonia. Driven, perfect, taken. Giringish completing the cut there. It is the ball that they needed. You take wickets in every time that the new batter comes in. You don't give them time to settle.
Yeah, it was flighted up there by Sonia Napera. Penina Natabo going for that drive, and in the end she just manages the catch. She finds Gilingish Navulime waiting at mid-off. Look at that one. The ball was a bit flighted right in the arc for driving. She could have kept her head down to maybe try and make sure she drives it down the ground. In the end, the catch is taken. Back-to-back wickets for St. John's Secondary School as they've gotten rid of Penina Natabo. And the scoreboard is now at 35 for 4.
A good lofted drive, but doesn't beat the fielder. Navulime Giringish at mid-off. Her intentions were to go over that fielder, maybe pick up 2 runs or 3 or 4. But in the end, was it the better decision to make? You've just walked on. You found Hasfa in. What do you have to do? Do you have to go after the ball? But the wicket finished the over and it's 35 for 3. After 10 overs, and now 23 runs required in 10 overs.
There is a bowling change. Harry Numton returning into the attack, replacing Gilingish Navulime Shadia.
Hasfa, the batter on strike. It is Hasfa's wicket that St. John's should be looking for at the moment. And you can see how Hasfa's plan has been all along. No try to attack Mutonyi. Just play Mutonyi out and hope for the best from the other bowlers, because they know she's the peak of the bowlers. She's one that you should beware of because she possesses so much threat.
Extra bounce coming off the surface there. That's something you'd expect from the AstroTurf. That ball getting off the surface and skidding on very quickly. Erin Hampton bowling her third over. She's considered 10 in her first 2. I tell you how Nasifa Hasfa Naula has that tendency of connecting a few. That's what I told you. The wicketkeeper made a mess of it, and it is 5 runs onto the total. It's a wide that goes for 4. 5 wides. And now the 40 runs will come up for Masaka Secondary School.
What just happened there for Mutonyi's bowling? What just happened? We saw the wicketkeeper coming down, maybe saw the ball was down, the bowler, rather the batter's pad, tries to go down, but in the end, bounce somewhere again, bet the keeper, again beating the keeper to her rate. In the end, 5 runs to the total, and now brings the equation to only 18 from 9.3 overs.
Back quotes there from Erin Mutton, but I love the fact that Naulas was trying to offer, because in T20 you have to calculate if you can hit that wide for 4, you would have picked maximum rewards. But now Erin Mutton is bowling it to the pads, straying and missing it. She needs to make sure that she continues bowling that stump to stump line, put the stumps into play and get a chance of picking up the wicket. There was an appeal of LBW. Look at that, a mix-up there between the batters, but in the end they managed to take the run. The fielder had low levels of awareness that could have clearly turned out to be a run out.
That would have been a run even in the first attempt, because the ball hits Hasfa's leg and it goes to a vacant area, trying to take a run, but in the end the poor fielding that allowed them to go for the run. Again, the throw wasn't to the right end, but they will take every run the way it comes. An inside edge there will allow them to rotate the strike, and that will be a very expensive over from Erin Mutonyi. Those 5 wides and these 2 runs after. Mutonyi will really be disappointed that she's not getting the breakthrough. But Hasfa has to continue doing what she's doing at the moment, because every person in Masaka's dugout is relying on her at the moment. She only has to play out the innings, take them deep, and I tell you, guarantee you that the runs will come. The loose balls will be there, the extras will be there. And she's really doing decently. 33 balls she has faced, and only 12 runs she has scored. You don't mind about the runs she has scored, but the number of balls she has faced. Powerful shot, really gorgeous. How do you call that? Driven to the onside. Really gorgeous. Good timing there from Hasfa.
What a shot there from Naula. The ball coming right to her pads, and she manages to hit her way down to bring up another boundary right to the pads. And I tell you, Hasfa Naula is one of those good players to the ball, well hitting those balls that come to her pads. She manages to knock that one down to the fences.
I tell you, we haven't seen better shots than that today. But this time round, she will have to depart. Her fate is no longer. She has been outdone by Erin Mutonyi. In the end, it will be Erin Mutonyi getting the last laugh. But what a display she has put in. What a fight she has had, playing 35 balls and scoring 16 runs. Get a feeling that she has done the heavy lifting. Look at that delivery. Oh, really too full. A little bit shape into the right hander. She tries again to play on the onside, but this time round won't survive that. Beautiful delivery there from Erin Mutonyi. A beautiful delivery needed to take the beautiful wicket there of Hasfa. But credit has to be given to her for her fight. She stood tall, and now everything will be either way for St. John's or Masaka. Says they don't need to lose any wicket at the moment. They only need to hold a little bit, put in another fight, not go guns blazing from here. They still need to play the innings softly. But Sonia will be the bowler coming to bowl her fourth. She has done a decent job. She has really bowled decent lanes. Now bowling to the new batters. They haven't gotten off the mark. And Mukite is up to the task. Straight away, lunging forward and pushing it to covers for a dot ball. That's much better played there from Mukite. Again, soft push there from Mukite. She knows that it is Sonia who has picked most of the wickets for St. John's. And if you play out all the 4 balls, it could be so good for your side.
And now Mukite Kevin will also be knowing that Sonia Nampera is bowling her last over. So need to make sure that you just see her off. At some time, St. John's will start gambling with the bowlers. They need 11 more runs from 9 overs for victory. With 5 wickets at hand, Masaka Secondary School.
In the waiting hands of the fielder there. And another one based the dust. Mukite struggled, wanted to get off the mark but couldn't. And it is Sonia who has been the wicket taker of the day for St. John's at the moment. And the wicket number 5 falls.
I love the idea. That ball had some width on it. She wanted to play the inside out shot, but just didn't get it past the fielder. The catch is taken by Michelle Loquia, and now the captain for Masaka Secondary School departs. Masaka loses the 6th wicket. I tell you, the game will continue swinging both directions from here on. And I feel for the coaches, because every game at the Girls Nationals has been a pressure one. Nothing comes easy.
I tell you, 6 down means that only 4 left, and for so many teams in this tournament, they don't have a tall order. And now we're in the batter's party at the moment, rather the bowler's part at the moment, because like I said, no many teams have that long end. And now it's just a matter of how long can they keep the discipline. That is St. John's ball to the right areas.
Yesterday she picked up a FIFA, Sonia Nampera, and now she has 4 wickets. But that's her final ball to wrap up her spell. A FIFA for her. What a bowler she's been, trying to make sure that she keeps St. John's in the game. We come to the end of the 12th over, and 47 for 6 is what the scoreboard reads for Masaka Secondary School. They still need more 11 runs from 8 overs.
"11 runs could mean to be a Herculean for the tail enders. It's just about bowling in the right areas and make sure that you don't give out extras. And it will be Nabulime Giringish to come from the school end. And now they are desperate for a wicket. That is St. John's. If they pick one more wicket, these 2 spinners, Giringish and Sonia, have done a decent job. They have really been economical.
Hit over the fielder. Chance for them to pick 2 runs. There was some bit of hesitation, but the throw there are not too powerful. And they run for the second. Now what Masaka Secondary School needs for victory is a single digit. They need exactly 9 runs for victory from as many as 7.5.
I feel that was a chance, but I feel that point Joreen Nelima was too close to the stumps. Again trying to go for a similar shot, but the ball holding and staying a little bit down. The first shot you could feel that the fielder was so much inside. Had she been at the 25 yard, she would maybe have been in a position to stop that or take it as it comes to pick the 7th wicket. But Nawilime Gringish making sure that she comes back with a dot ball. But Widish, she has been bowling and she has offered so much width to the batters. Kisache is the batter that is yet to go off the mark, but Nalwega has already scored 3 from 3. Straying away around the body. This will be only 1 run, but beautifully played.
Not too much control in that shot. The fielder makes a mess of it, but the noise scares out the batters. They do not take the run, but they require more 7 runs from 7.1 overs. .51 runs. The 50 runs coming up on board in this over. 51 for 6 is now what the scoreboard reads for Masaka Secondary School. Applied down in the ground. It may go all the way to the boundary, but there is a fielder giving it a chase. The umpire signals 4. What a shot there from Nalubega Jane. Wrapping up the over.
Really beautiful shot, but it has been a question of the lane that Gringish has been hitting all along. She has really given width to the 2 batters, and in the end she pays off for those balls that she has bowled, width deliveries. This time round, Nalwega opening up her hands there and doing the much deserved job. Has no fear of hitting this pitched up Widish.
Now the conversation with the umpire manager Patrick Mokumi Masuke, that's one of the things we was talking about. If you could teach our players to try and open up the bats, if you teach the players how to open up, it gives them a lot of chance to play and maybe clear the cover fielders. But then every time you play with a straight vertical bat, you will see a volley and you will just play it back to the fielder or just within the infield. But if you can open up and go hard, you get a chance. I'll show there for Nalwega. 3 more needed in 7 overs, and Erin Morton will be the bowling change. Erin Morton coming to bowl from the church end. She's bowling her final over. She starts with a wide, meaning what is required is 2 from 7.
Yeah, she's really desperate to picking a wicket. She has only picked one, that of Haspa. But now 2 runs required with so many overs left. 7 overs. Get a feeling that it is a Herculean test for St. John's. They can't go on and pick 4 wickets and defend those 2 runs. Only 1 run, it will be a match tie. It's only just a matter of time.
And all their dugout is already on its feet because they know this might be a victory in the making. It will take a lot of magic and a very, very big miracle for St. John's to pick up victory here on. From the edge of the bat down to the sweepers, and the scores are level. The fielders, the players of Masakaseku are already running on, thinking that could have rolled on to go for 4. But no, one more run is needed for it to be game, set and match.
Not just rolling for 4. They thought maybe the umpire would call it a wade because it was down the leg, but there was something off the bat. But everything leveled now. Only one run to the victory for Masaka. I tell you, the game is poised to end in this Mutonyi's over.
They could have taken that by run to win the game of anything away, because they know what this win means for them. It will take them to on top of the table, and if you're on top of the table, you get a weaker opponent, the number 2 from the other table. Another dot ball for Erin Morton to drag the game on, and that dot ball will mark the end of the over. Erin Morton's spell has been a very expensive one. She's given away 22 runs in 4 overs and picked up just a single wicket. For a player who has played for the Victoria Pearls, putting up such figures doesn't really come out for your team, because if you're defending 58 and you give away 22, it means what you've given away is even close to a half of the runs that you came out to defend. But as we complete the 14th over, 57 for 6 is the score.
Sacha Jovia will be the bowler to bowl the 15th over. She was bowling from the touch end previously, and now she changes the sides with only 1 run required to finish this inning. Last time I was expecting it to end in Mutonyi's over, but she fought so well.
A wide, and that wide will be the winning run. It's game, set and match. Masaka Secondary School completing the victory and winning that game by 4 wickets. But look at the celebration there. The guys of Masaka Secondary School ran to the pitch because they know what this victory means for them. St. John's Secondary School has been handed the first defeat in this tournament.
And they are very much aware that they are going to finish this group stage game as the top grouper, and going to into the playoffs. They will be having that advantage to face a less team from the other group, maybe ranked number 2. That is the advantage of completing the game on a high and winning against the top flight teams. Match summary for you there from Ivan.
Yeah, Masaka Secondary School won the toss and opted to bowl first. Judith Nakasaga was the only standout there for St. John's Secondary School with double figures, 11 of 20. She got support from Irene Motoni, 9 of 7, and Josephine Nawagala, 5 of 13. 3 wickets apiece for Naula Hasfa and Kisache Angela Peace as Masaka SS managed to pull out St. John's Secondary School for just 57 runs. 1 wicket apiece for Natabo and Kaijuka Florence. But I tell you, at the end of the second over, the score in the first innings was 25 for no loss. But in the end, St. John's Secondary School failed to capitalize and continue scoring the runs. In response, Naula Hasfa top scored with 16 of 37. 20 extras given away by St. John's Secondary School. Still something for them to regret because they were working with a very small total. But Sonia Namped at the back of the favor in yesterday's game, she came and started with another 4 wickets at an economy rate of 1.50 because she considered only 6.5 overs. 1 apiece for Mutoni Irene and Shadia Gilingish Nabulime, but in the end, not enough for them to pick victory. Masaka Secondary School still unbeaten in Group D as they walk away with a victory, handing St. George the first loss in this tournament. We've come to the end of the game and we'll be having another game in the afternoon, so make sure that you keep it. Cricket Uganda. My name is Evan Cyprian Sajabi and I was here with Fortunate Ali Juna. It is a wrap up for now.